The Lobster Craze, a pathological Chinese landscape. This is the Jersey News Commentary Channel. In the past few days, China's internet has suddenly been invaded by a lobster. This is not a real lobster, nor anything related to the dining economy. It is an open-source AI agent called OpenClaw. Its slogan is highly appealing. It is not merely an AI that chats, it is an AI that can actually work. It can read files, send emails, call tools, and execute tasks, functioning like a digital assistant with hands and feet. Precisely because of this, it exploded in popularity in a very short time. Its GitHub stars surged rapidly, and at Tencent's Shenzhen headquarters there were even scenes of nearly 1,000 people lining up to install it. Normally, it is not unusual for a new tool to become popular. What is unusual is that in China it triggered not merely technical curiosity, but a kind of collective frenzy that feels all too familiar. On social media, the phrase "raising lobsters" became a trending term overnight. On second-hand platforms, installation services appeared everywhere, with prices ranging from a few dozen yuan to several hundred or even thousands. Some people claimed that by offering door-to-door installation, they earned 260,000 yuan in just a few days. The tool itself had barely been understood, yet the business surrounding it had already begun. This is the classic script of a Chinese-style windfall opportunity. The first question people ask is not whether the technology is mature, safe, or suitable for their needs. The first question is simply, can it make money? The moment people sense the faintest smell of the next get-rich opportunity, the entire society reflexively rushes toward it. Over the past 40 years, we have seen this pattern again and again: the stock market craze, the real estate boom, the P2P lending mania, the internet startup rush, the Bitcoin mining frenzy, the live streaming boom, the short video gold rush, and now, the lobster craze. The object keeps changing, but the mentality does not. Again and again, it reflects a speculative impulse shaped by long-term poverty, anxiety, and a deep hunger for opportunity. What people are chasing is never just technology. What they are chasing is the illusion of sudden wealth. Even more absurdly, this wave of enthusiasm came with obvious security risks from the very beginning. OpenClaw's power lies precisely in the fact that it requires high system permissions. It can read files, access system resources, and operate external applications. In other words, what you grant it is not ordinary authorization. You are effectively handing over your computer, your accounts, your workflows, and even portions of your private data to an AI agent that is still evolving rapidly. Security researchers and media reports have already found that hundreds of thousands of OpenClaw instances were exposed on the public internet due to misconfiguration, some already leading to data leaks and personal information exposure. China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology has also issued explicit warnings that default or improper configurations carry significant security risks and could easily trigger cyberattacks or data breaches. As a result, we see a scene that is uniquely Chinese: collective enthusiasm on one side, widespread disasters on the other. Some users installed it only to discover that their files had been exposed and system ports left wide open. Others downloaded fake installation packages and ended up infected with malware. Many beginners simply wanted to chase the trend. Yet before they even figured out how the command line worked, they had already turned their computers into security vulnerabilities. Before OpenClaw could make them any money, it had already delivered an expensive lesson in cybersecurity. What is even more intriguing is that local governments quickly joined the scene. Longyang District in Shenzhen released a draft policy known as the 10 Lobster Measures, proposing free deployment, application vouchers, subsidies, and investment support in order to attract developers and so-called one-person company startups. Some districts in Hangzhou are responding with toolkits, computing vouchers, and special funds. Shanghai, meanwhile, is packaging the lobster craze through developer conferences and innovation competitions, presenting it as an entrepreneurial showcase. On the surface, this appears to be an enthusiastic embrace of AI. In reality, it resembles a familiar local government investment frenzy. Wherever something becomes popular, governments rush to subsidize, support, and compete, afraid of missing the next concept or opportunity. Yet on the other hand, the authorities have simultaneously begun to step on the brakes. The MIT has issued security warnings, and party media have advised government agencies, public institutions, and enterprises to use the technology cautiously. According to reports by Reuters and Bloomberg on March 11, 2026, some Chinese state-owned enterprises, large banks, and government departments have already received instructions restricting employees from installing OpenClaw on office computers or related systems. In some cases, employees who had already installed it were even required to report and remove it. In other words, while the public cheers, local governments recruit, the core institutions of the system are raising firewalls and sounding alarms. This creates a distinctly pathological Chinese landscape. On one side, the country shouts about innovation. On the other, it strictly guards against losing control. On one side, the public is encouraged to board the train. On the other, those inside the system are forbidden from touching it. On one side, it is packaged as a new frontier of AI entrepreneurship. On the other, it is treated as a high-risk entry point. The market is hot. Power remains cold. Those charging forward are ordinary people. Those remaining cautious are the institutions that understand the system's vulnerabilities best. Therefore, the Lobster Craze reveals more than the popularity of a single AI product. It exposes a deeper psychological structure within Chinese society, a long-term absence of stable expectations, a persistent belief in the mythology of windfall opportunities, a tendency to treat technology as a speculative tool, and a constant oscillation between policy encouragement and policy prohibition. What people are chasing today is not OpenClaw itself, but the illusion that this might be the chance to turn my life around. Likewise, what local governments pursue is not purely technological progress, but the hope that this could become another concept to package, another industry to attract, another story to tell. In the end, what we are witnessing is not the rise of a lobster in China. It is a society once again exposing its deeper symptoms: weak security awareness, excessive opportunity anxiety, astonishingly agile policy opportunism, and a collective frenzy ready to ignite at any moment. OpenClaw may indeed prove to be a valuable AI tool. The rise of AI agents does represent an important shift from machines that merely talk to machines that can actually act. But the real problem lies elsewhere. Whenever a new technology enters China, it is almost instantly wrapped in myths of sudden wealth, waves of policy enthusiasm, and collective imbalance. What grows first is rarely a mature application ecosystem. Instead, what emerges first are paid installation services, conceptual subsidies, bureaucratic restrictions, and a mess left behind. That is the Lobster Craze. On the surface, it looks like an AI carnival. At its core, it is a pathological Chinese landscape. Follow me as we continue to decode China.